We're live at Officers and Leaders here in Rogers, Arkansas, and we have a big show to bring you, a couple of news stories, and a conversation with Carey Portell, our keynote speaker. It's all happening live on this episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
Well, you know how last week we said she is so good. She does her job correctly every single week without fail.
Yes.
She messed up.
She failed.
She failed today, didn't she?
Yeah.
That's a problem. Clearly, there is no John McMahon here today, as we are in beautiful, scenic Rogers, Arkansas. John McMahon and his lovely wife, Mary Louise, welcomed their second child into the world yesterday on Wednesday. We on the AgCast would like to welcome young Mr. Frederick Lewis McMahon, who's born July 16th.
Congratulations.
That's right. A hearty 7 pounds, 14 ounces, coming in just under 8 pounds there, and 20 inches long. So he happened to send us a photo
Of himself.
Which is right on key for him.
It is.
He made sure he was the best looking one in the photo. I'll say that. And we expect nothing less.
Yes.
And we asked him, why do you look like you're ready to come on camera right now? You just had a baby, man. And he said that we trained him too hard over the years to always be ready for an interview.
Like, oh boy.
Yeah, he's really that head didn't shrink any in the hospital.
It looked like, hey, look at this picture of me. Oh, and by the way, I had another baby.
There's a baby here also, if you're interested in that. Yeah. But it's in true John McMahon fashion. We do wish he and his family well. We mentioned last week that he would be out for a few weeks, and so hope they get some good family time in. In the meantime, we're recording a regular show today, pretty regular, I guess. We are, like I said, live at the Rogers Convention Center for Officers and Leaders.
Wait, it's not a regular show because we did have a very special guest lined up here in just a minute.
Yeah, we do. That's a great point. So it's not a regular show. We do have a special guest.
Yes.
So it's Officers and Leaders. You're seeing this on Thursday afternoon, so we're already through day one of Officers and Leaders. Got a great day ahead tomorrow with some commodity division meetings, with some workshops. Our keynote speaker, Carey Portell, is who we're going to have on the show here in just a little bit. She's going to tell us a little bit about her story. So if you are not able to make it to Rogers, you'll be able to hear Carey's story. I'm going to say testimony. I've gotten to spend quite a bit of time with her today, and that's really what it is. And it's a really wonderful story. So if you're listening now, please make sure you stick around until you hear Carey's story. Definitely. We've got a couple bits of news we're going to cover before we get there. But I just want to say I'm glad to be here in Rogers at O&L.
For sure.
Do you remember the last time we were here for O&L?
About 3 years ago.
I was here at Farm Bureau 4 years in May, and I can't remember. It was either 21 or 22.
I think it's 22.
It was either my first year or my second year. I couldn't remember.
Yeah, I think it's 22 because then we went to High Springs and then we were in Jonesboro
last year. That's right. Yeah. Boy, it feels like a lifetime ago that we were in Jonesboro.
Time flies.
It does, my friend. It does, my friend. We've got a great. You can probably see behind us, but we've got a great setup out in the mezzanine or the hallways of the convention center. Our store is set up, so if you want to purchase all the Farm Bureau goodies,
lots of swag.
They're there. Yeah, our friends with Arkansas Hunters Feeding the Hungry are set up, so they've got some snack sticks out there giving away. Like I said, we've had workshops. My goodness, covering topics like H2A, direct to consumer beef sales. mental health. I mean, H2A. I may have just said that H2A labor. I mean, we've had a ton commodity markets, all kinds of information to be shared here and still to be shared tomorrow. We've got foundation dinner happening tonight, and just really, it's a jam-packed couple of days up here in Rogers, and I'm excited to be here. I just love seeing everybody's faces.
Yeah, it's good to see everybody.
Yeah, and you know, I gotta tell you that Wes Evans boy, he's like a proud papa.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
You know.
I ran into him earlier. It's good to see him.
Welcome to Northwest Arkansas, he says. He's like, he's king of the hill, you know.
That's good.
He's up here, and he says, all right, we're in my backyard now. So good to see him and all his folks. And,
Yes.
of course, we honored our hometown hero,
Yeah.
award winner today, Fire Chief Clint Bowen, who's now at Pea Ridge. He freshly retired from the Rogers Fire Department. And you can read about him in the latest Front Porch.
Yeah.
If you want to learn more about him.
Very
So
much.
anyway, a lot of good things going on at O&L. But for now, let's dive into a little bit of news so we can go ahead and get Carey on the show. We're not going to cover any of the crop quality reporting this week for the sake of time, but we will be back. I think we're going to take next week off. The week after that, we're going to have James Mitchell, who's a livestock economist with the University of Arkansas Extension Service, come on. He's going to talk to us about cattle markets. You know, we reported a lot about those inventory numbers. He's going to talk about those inventory numbers, when we might start to see farmers in Arkansas start to hold on to those cattle instead of taking them to market, when we might start to see those inventory numbers bounce back, and what factors might play into when or how quickly that happens. So looking forward to a conversation with James Mitchell that we'll have on in a couple weeks, and then we'll have John back in the room. So, all right. Well, speaking of Mr. McMahon, last week he reported on the U.S.-Mexico border as it applies to cattle imports and exports due to the New World screwworm fly. Well, there have been updates to this situation, so we wanted to bring them to you today. These just came out day before yesterday, I believe. The New World screwworm, a parasitic fly, as you know if you've been listening, whose larvae feed on living tissue of warm-blooded animals, has reemerged as a major threat in 2025. Once eradicated from the United States in 1996, 1966, the pest has made a troubling northward advance through Central America and into Mexico. Experts point to unregulated livestock movement within Central America and Mexico as a key factor. Animals with untreated wounds can carry screwworm larvae for long distances. These flies lay eggs in the open wounds of animals, and once hatched, the larvae burrow into flesh, causing a condition known as myiasis. If untreated, infestations can be fatal. The pest poses a severe threat to livestock, wildlife, pets, and even humans. In a move to protect American agriculture, the USDA has once again closed the southern border to livestock imports following the detection of a new case in Veracruz, Mexico, which is just 370 miles from the U.S. border. I believe last week we were reporting that there's going to be a phased reopening of the border. That is no more as of today. Secretary of Agriculture Brooke Rollins emphasized the urgency of the situation, saying, "We're pausing the planned port reopenings to further quarantine and target this deadly pest in Mexico. We must see additional progress combating NWS in Veracruz and other nearby Mexican states to open livestock ports along the southern border. USDA has been deploying over 100 million sterile NWS flies weekly as part of its eradication strategy. These sterile males, which mate only once, help suppress the population by preventing reproduction. Additionally, a new sterile fly dispersal facility is under construction in South Texas to bolster containment efforts. The USDA emphasized that reopening will only proceed if no adverse effects arise after each phase and if the situation in Mexico remains stable. Of course, Arkansas Farm Bureau will continue to follow the situation and report back to our members as new information becomes available. So that has sort of been an evolving topic there along the way. So that update, I believe, went out to commodity divisions yesterday, those that it would pertain to.
Okay.
Having conversation with Carey Portell, our keynote, who is a cattle rancher, she told me that this is the topic in the cattle industry right now.
I can see why. Wow.
So we'll obviously keep a close eye on that. All right. As we round out the news for today, let's talk about fair and livestock funding here in Arkansas.
Okay.
This week, the Arkansas Department of Agriculture announced more than $1.4 million in funding to support local fairs and livestock shows across the state. The funding awarded through the department's fair funding program will go to 80 fairs and livestock shows, helping cover operational costs, facility improvements, and livestock-related expenses. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders praised the program, saying, "Agriculture isn't just Arkansas's largest industry. It's part of our way of life. The fair funding program helps showcase our farmers and ranchers and gets the next generation excited about agriculture, while also being a great way for small-town Arkansas to come together and have fun." All right. The fair funding program was created to preserve and promote Arkansas's agricultural heritage, while also investing in the future of the industry. As part of the program, recipients are required to keep detailed financial records and submit annual reports to both the Department of Agriculture and Arkansas Legislative Audit, helping ensure transparency and accountability. Arkansas Secretary of Ag, Wes Ward, emphasized the importance of these events, saying, "We're proud to work with fairs and livestock shows throughout the state to highlight the importance of our state's largest industry and provide opportunities for the next generation to participate in the industry that provides the food, fiber, fuel, and shelter that is critical to the daily lives of every Arkansan." So I'll say, whether it's supporting 4-H or FFA youth or keeping local traditions alive, this funding is helping ensure that Arkansas's deep agricultural roots continue to grow for generations to come. I know, obviously, this is fair funding and livestock show funding is a topic near to our members' hearts. It's addressed many times in our policy book, and glad to see this funding come to fruition.
I've heard it said several times while we've been here this week, this is the kickoff of our policy development season, but in a lot of ways, this is also around the time of year, the kickoff of fair season everywhere. All the counties things are about to really get busy. So
that's right. I was actually looking at the annual meeting, policy development meeting calendar earlier this morning. So it is that time.
For sure.
Well, listen, let's play some musical chairs. I want to get Carey over here so we can get her on the show.
All right.
But before we do that, let's take a short break.
Arkansas farmers and ranchers work 7 days a week. That means when you hit the road, you may be sharing it with farm equipment, especially if you're traveling along rural roads and county highways. Farm equipment moves slower than our pickup trucks and minivans. They may not have the safety lights and turn signals of our family vehicles either. The trucks and tractors moving down the road need extra room to make turns, cross bridges, and move through intersections too. We all get in a hurry sometimes, but it's important that we all stay safe, no matter if we're headed to buy groceries or grow them. So next time you're cruising past a pasture or field, keep an eye out for farmers. They'll be sure to keep an eye out for you too. If we all work together, we can make sure Arkansas is cultivating safe roads.
All right, my goodness! Like I told you guys, we're back, and we have swapped seats, and we have Miss Carey Portell with us. Very happy to have her with us. We are, again, just a reminder, at ONL, our Officers and Leaders Conference, I should say, in Rogers, Arkansas, and Carey is not only the keynote speaker for us at this event. We've really put her to work, so I appreciate you being so willing to do this. You know, when we have live events, we sometimes like to include an interview as part of the AgCast, and we have asked Carey to be the keynote speaker. She's given a workshop. She's given a QPR mental health training to some of our folks, and done this interview on the AgCast today. So we have really taken advantage of your time here. Regardless of all that, though, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the Arkansas AgCast, Carey, and thank you for being here.
I appreciate that. I'm super excited to hang with you guys for a while.
Yeah, we're gonna have fun. Like I was telling you before, our co-host John McMinn is out today. He and his wife welcomed a new baby on what is today? Yesterday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
And we mentioned the new baby earlier, but I know he's sad to not be here. But if I'm being honest, he probably has his feet kicked up at home and watching a movie or two and skipping out on O&L. We don't know why they scheduled their baby to be born during O&L, but whatever it is, it got him out of it. So, all right. Well, listen, let's just dive into it. Okay. We're not here to talk about him. We're here to talk about you and learn a little bit more about you. And I told you as we were preparing for this interview, one of the things that we want to cover here is, not everybody can come here. It's a tough time of year. Like, there's still farmers trying to get the first hay cutting done with all the rain we've had. I know you've mentioned all the rain that you guys had, and you're just north of here in Missouri. There's still farmers trying to get the first hay cutting done for our row crop farmers. It's a 5-6 hour drive over here. So, we've got a great crowd, but there are certainly some people who weren't able to make it. What we want to accomplish here is if you weren't able to come and be with us in Rogers this week, you're able to hear a bit about Carey and hear her story and hear how impactful that is. And I've gotten the pleasure to be with you really all day. And I just got to tell you, it is more and more impressive as we go, especially this workshop that we just came out of, where you talked about your perseverance and the strength and the real goals that you not just set for yourself, but wrote down on paper. And I hope we can talk about some of that today.
Yeah, definitely.
And get into that. And I hope that I'm not the one talking about it like I have been so far, and we let you actually talk about that. So, all right. So you refer to yourself, the first question I've got for you, you refer to yourself as a professional speaker by circumstance. Tell us a bit about what that means.
Yeah, I say by circumstance because there is no way in this entire world that I would ever have chosen to be a public speaker.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, never. And anybody who knows me and grew up with me, this was never on my forecast. Like, I was shy, I was introverted. There was never going to be a time that I was going to get up in front of people and speak. So before my car crash, that is what I feared worse than death. Very trivial thinking.
Getting up, yeah.
Yeah, that's not true whatsoever. Now that I've faced death, it's like, oh, yeah, public speaking, no problem.
I need you. We're going to write that down for our next communications training. We're going to say that, like, hey, listen, we've talked to somebody who's been there. This isn't as nearly as scary as you think it is.
Yeah, absolutely not. So by circumstance, I was hit by a drunk driver 14 years ago, and it was significant. So it was 4-car pileup, fatal. It was very, very traumatic. And somewhere in year 2 of my recovery, I started getting these feelings of, Carey, I think you're supposed to start sharing these lessons with other people and not just yourself and your family, because they were very big, difficult lessons. And immediately I just shook my head no. I'm like, why is this coming to my mind? This is not what I want to do. I'm terrified. I didn't know at that point that I was only halfway through my recovery anyway. It took me 4 years to be able to be dismissed from my surgeons. But about that year 4, boy, it started coming on really strong. And I felt like at that point I didn't have a choice. So I started putting it out there to my community. They were pushing me as well, to become a speaker and share about these things, these lessons that were happening to us. And I said, okay, kind of grudgingly, I'll do it. And I said, it's got to be super short, like 15, 20 minutes, because I thought that was a forever at that point. And I did it. I got up there. I shook. You could hear my voice quiver. One, because it's just an emotional thing to go through again. And to go through it in that much detail so people understand was very difficult for me. And then it just snowballed. Like it just started going. Like one person out of that crowd heard it and referred me to somebody else. And before I knew it, I was doing 65 events a year. And I thought, what is this? My life now? Like how?
Yeah.
Like never would I have imagined. So if this hadn't happened to me, there's no way on the face of this earth that I would ever say, yeah, put me up there on stage.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I'm doing the math in my head, and you say 15, 20 minutes max. I'm just going to tell you now that when you leave here tomorrow at lunch, you will have spent somewhere in the neighborhood of 4 hours speaking at this event only.
Carey's come a long way.
So that's really, you've embraced this life. I think it's safe to say.
I have. I think the reason that I've embraced it is in the beginning, I fully understand now looking back that the first year that I was speaking was completely for me. It was a purge and heal process.
Wow.
Yeah. I felt so much better each time that I did it, like getting some of that hurt out of me. And then once I finally got to the point where I'm like, you know what, I'm going to be okay. I think I'm going to be okay. I started seeing how what I was sharing affecting everybody in the audience. And, the things that they were coming up and whispering in my ear at the end of my presentation, or when they would get home, they would, email me or message me on social media because they were too afraid to ask me, at the event. And I thought, oh, now this is why I'm doing this. I'm good. Now it's for them. And that's been my passion ever since.
Wow. I saw that happen in your workshop 30 minutes ago. We got done. We were kind of in a hurry to get out of the room, and run a tight ship around here. But, a lady came up and I said, hey, can we talk out in the hallway, so we can give the room over? And she wasn't having it. She needed to talk to you right then, right there.
Quietly, yeah.
And very quietly, not outside where all the commotion was going on. You have a tendency to really wake up something in people when you share your story. And what I heard you do is challenge people. Why is that important?
I feel that if I hadn't challenged myself and asked the close people around me to challenge me, I don't know if I would have gotten as far as I have today. And that's in all aspects, like just healing and continuing to farm, and then, deciding, hey, yeah, I'm going to travel the United States and be a speaker. You have to get out of your comfort zone or you are going to stay stagnant. So if you don't challenge yourself, well, you're going to stay exactly where you're at. Yeah.
So tell us, obviously we're at a Farm Bureau conference. You're a farmer. I probably should have mentioned that well before now. You and your husband farm in Missouri. How has that role as a farmer played a role in your recovery and your journey to this point?
I love talking about this. It was my therapy in every aspect. So in the beginning, my physical therapist said, Carey, you're a farmer. You're telling me you want to start doing some chores. And they were very, trivial, small things because I couldn't even carry 2 buckets, of grain at the same time. It was so bad. He said, why don't you stop coming in here 3 times a week and let's figure out a way that you can do some small chores at home to substitute for your physical therapy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I was all about that. Like he was giving me permission, because my husband needed permission to let me go outside to go to the barn to do these things. But as I started doing them, something would so profound would come over me that I thought, man, I did not realize how much I needed 3 very specific things in my life. I needed some purpose, some kind of purpose to keep going forward. I needed to contribute, and that was my way of contributing, even though it was, minute. And then I did not realize, and this came as a very big surprise, how much I needed accomplishments. And when I got to look behind me one day finally and say, oh man, I was able to feed the cows today, or the first time that I was able to get in the tractor and brush hog, I turned around and looked at that field and I'm like, did that. I was able to stay out here long enough and do that.
Mm-hmm.
The therapy part of it was just amazing, on every aspect, whether it's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual. There was a lot of spiritual stuff going on out there with me in that hayfield.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's amazing to me that number one, that you had a therapist. I don't know that world at all, but to have a therapist that says, you know what, I see an opportunity here for you to go and do some normal life stuff, because it can also accomplish or achieve what we're trying to achieve here in this office in town. What do you think? Do you think there was something about your personality or your spirit that pushed him that direction? Do you think that was his style? What do you think that was?
I think that I used to keep everything inside, and something changed after all this happened. And I blubbered all the time about things. And, when you work with somebody three days a week, and physical therapy, you get pretty close.
It's kind of like a haircut. You've got something going on, but there's also a lot of talking because you got to pass the time,
Yep,
I mean,
is.
not to I should not. That might be disrespectful. I'm sorry for
No,
saying
no.
But you know what I mean? It's like conversation just naturally happens.
It does naturally happen. And there were times where, he had to stretch my body. I didn't move for 5 months. So I was actually, my body was petrified in the shape of a wheelchair. And so, he's having to get nose to nose with me sometimes. And, it's very awkward. And you're like,
Yeah.
we're going to be great friends, aren't we?
Hope you brushed your teeth this morning.
So you just start, blurbing stuff out, and he would ask certain questions, and I just kept going. I am an active person. Like, I am so physical. I need to be able to get outside and do these things, or mentally, I'm not going to be able to make it. And after a certain amount of time, I think he probably knew I was going to try it anyway on my own. So he's like, I better give this woman some guidance on, how to do things from start to finish. Because anytime, even till today, I have to, number one, think about safety. Safety is my number one concern. I don't want to do any more damage that's already been done to my body.
Right.
The second one is I have 1,800 steps that I can take a day. So how am I going to use those? Am I going to use them all in the morning to feed? Am I going to split them up? What am I going to do with them? And the third thing I always have to think about is I only have a certain amount of energy that's going to get me through the day. So I have to conserve where I need to. And being able to do that, instead of driving 35 minutes to my PT appointment, or having someone take me, they have, in the beginning I had to have someone take me and pick me up.
Sure.
That was his, I'm hearing this woman say all these things, and she's driving 35 minutes and she's having to get people to help her. I know she can do this at home. She's going to do it anyway. So why don't I just help her do it in the safest, possible way that I can? Yeah.
That's really incredible that he saw that. And I think, just again, hearing your story a few times today, it's got to be, that has to be a part of why you are where you are, is seeing that in you and allowing you to do that, or encouraging you to do that, I guess I should say. I know we've talked a lot about farming, but that's not all you've got going on. And, as a matter of fact, I mentioned you've done a few things with us today. And one of those things is a QPR training that you give through the with the AgriSafe network. Talk to us a little bit about that and the other work that you have going on.
Yeah,
as well.
I'd love to. So I have 3 nonprofits that have helped me a lot during my journey. And the first one is AgriAbility, and they actually helped me. They came out and did a farm assessment and showed me body mechanics, how to do things differently. They actually got me some special equipment for physically, we're not supposed to say disabled anymore, but with physical challenges. And through doing some advocating and collaborating with the AgriAbility, the AgriSafe network saw me and met me through them, through that organization. And they started looking me up on social media and saw that I was sharing a lot about mental health and how farming and agriculture helped me during my recovery. And they were starting a project called the AgriStress Helpline. And they said, how would you like to be, a contract employee and just help us out with this? And it was just getting started. It's a crisis line for people specific to agriculture. And then they said, you know what, we want to start this monthly meeting where we invite guests to share, what are you doing in your state to help mental health and agriculture? Can you facilitate that? And I absolutely love it because I always tell people, I'm like, I never need to do drugs to get high because helping people collaborate with each other, which comes from these meetings, that is the high that I get from that. Because this little episode that we did and shared with hundreds of people working in the mental health community has now we've been introducing them to each other. So now they can collaborate. And the emails that I get afterwards is saying, you're not going to believe this. I had 3 people from this, meeting, this online Zoom meeting that we do say, hey, I would like to help you with your project, or can you help me get it started in my state? And I'm like, yes, that's what came out of this. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. That's excellent. And so the training, tell us a little bit about the training that you gave here this morning.
Yep, QPR. So it's very specific suicide prevention program. The one that I gave is very specific to agriculture, and AgriSafe had actually gotten permission from the Institute to be able to share this particular one. And I think it's very important when I do speak at agriculture events to those statistics, the testimonies and stories that come through QPR are from people who have lived through a dark time in agriculture, and it really seems to resonate, with the audience.
Yeah, that's great. And so for those who were able to attend this morning, they walked out with a certificate. I mean, they're going to have a certificate saying, I'm certified in this area.
Yeah.
To be able to help my neighbor, my
Yes.
friends, people in my community who may be having mental health challenges.
Yeah, it gives them the tools that they need to feel confident when approaching someone. Or, I talked a lot this morning about when they hear certain phrases come from a person, it's going to trigger their response, and the red flags are going to go up, and they're going to go, oh, I get to use what I learned today. This is how I'm going to do it, and I feel comfortable doing it.
Remind us QPR. What does that acronym mean?
Yep, QPR is question, persuade, and refer.
Okay. So it really is describing the process that you taught our folks to go through if they see one of those signs. And it was powerful. I was lucky enough to sit through it, and it was really cool to see. And a lot of interest from the group there too. Well, I just want to ask you about this because you and I have talked sort of offline about this, but I want to ask you about it now. You talked about how much of a mental health recovery you have gone through. I should say experience and eventual recovery that you have been through as a result of your accident. And I think as an onlooker, in some cases, that is more prevalent in your story than the physical. I'd love to just listen to you share a little bit about that while we're on the topic of mental health.
Yeah, I think 100% it was more difficult to get through the mental and emotional aspect of my recovery than my actual physical recovery, because I really couldn't do anything about my physical part. I had to rely on my surgeons and other medical staff to tell me, this is what you need to do to get to the best possible point physically that you can do. And after that, you're just going to have to accept. And I was like, well, what do I do with all this other stuff going on inside me? It's like there's a tornado going on in my heart and in my brain. And
which you weren't really thinking about before the accident.
Right.
Mental health was not a daily topic for Carey, right?
No.
Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, no. Yeah. I was busy. I was very successful in my photography business. We had 4 kids doing every activity, so there was no time to really think about what's bringing me down. I didn't have time for that,
Sure.
Yeah, so after this, I had to lay in a hospital bed in my living room for months, and all I had was time to think and ask questions, and basically I just kept asking myself, I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? And I didn't hear anything for a very long time because I just needed to heal. That's what everybody needed me to do, was just heal.
Sure.
And, after a while, and I don't know if we can talk about, can I talk about God on here? Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Nobody's gonna
I was having a
stop you from
lot of conversations with him because, he was always there to listen when I was by myself, finally. I didn't need a babysitter anymore. And I knew, well, my 2 questions that just over and over and over again would come to my mind is, am I going to be able to walk again? Or will my body remember how to walk? And that was a big part of it. But my second question was, I know you don't leave people here unless you're done with them. Like, I haven't served my purpose, but what is it that I'm supposed to be doing for you? Like, I just want you to tell me. And it was just, for 4 years, it plagued me.
Wow.
And that was in year 2, I started to hear him say, I need you to start talking. And I said, are you crazy? You know who
Yes,
I am.
but for 15 minutes only.
Yes, yes. I said, you made me. You know how I am.
Yeah.
And then I heard, I'm going to force you to grow. You can accept or you cannot. And I was like, okay. So I kind of took the coward's way out at first. I started a blog instead of going out and speaking. Plus, I didn't know that I was only halfway through my recovery. So I still had 2 more years to have all these surgeries and everything going on with that. So I started a blog, and I started talking about these moments in my life. And that's what I would share. And at the end, I would always share the lesson that I learned from it. And it started out like this. And boy, that started taking some traction. And, you know, my community, we live right along I-44. So we have car accidents that happen all the time. But they're usually like people just passing through. And so you don't get to see what happens after they leave your area. Well, for 4 years, they'd been following me, watching everything that I was going through. And, you know, sometimes they would get to see me in the grocery store, you know, if I got to go out, or the kids' ball games. And that year 4, I think I was on my 3rd presentation. Very short ones. Again, I said 20 minutes tops. And I was dying at that point. I was like, I don't even know if I can do this for 20 minutes. It was that 3rd presentation. I was up there, and I was just a shaking mess. And it was to 400 youth. It was like it was a high school crowd, but it's for college. Like, there was a bunch of universities there as well. And when I got done, I went back to my table, and I remember I kind of put my head down, and I forgot that there was 400 people in this room. And I had this conversation with God, and I said, listen to me. I said, I need you to be so unbelievably blunt that I cannot miss what you're telling me. I said, what am I supposed to do with, for you? And I swear it was like he was standing right in front of me.
Really?
And I heard it plain as day. And he said, Carey, I need you to do the thing that you've been most afraid of your entire life. Speak up.
Wow, how powerful.
Yeah.
Very.
It was super powerful.
So that
for
was
me.
like a 4-year span you're talking?
Yes.
Wow.
And
Wow.
I remember that day because my relationship with God is just like that of my husband. It's a very sarcastic, humorous relationship. There's a lot of banter.
I love it.
Yeah, and God loves it because he knows he's always going to win. But man, does he enjoy doing it with me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I remember that day, I remember when he said it, I put my head down and I started shaking my head no. And then I got this like humorous kick in me and I was like, oh my God, you are so ornery. You are so ornery to me. And so I shook my head yes, and I said, okay. Like, if that's what you want me to continue doing, that's what I'm going to do.
Wow.
Wow. What a story. I love that. Yeah, that is, it's just a great example of I don't know. I just, this is the thing that keeps coming up, if I may. It's just like, you've done your fair share of demanding, of telling people. You told the story of walking into physical therapy with your tennis shoes on. What are you doing here with those? Well, you're about to find out. But you've done a fair share of listening and following too, And I think
you gotta do both.
all of that has brought you to why we're sitting here at this table right now, right? It's amazing. Well, for those who weren't able to be here this week at the event, I'm just curious, but they're hearing your message now. I'm curious, what is the thing that you hope they take away?
It is something that my husband used to tell me all the time when I was in my lowest moments and couldn't bring myself out of it. He would say, Carey, remember, right now is just a moment in time. Now, my moment was 4 years long, but
Sure.
whatever people are struggling with right now, it goes along with my suicide prevention programs. We can get ourselves to a point where we think that nothing is ever going to get better, and this is the way that it's always going to be, and we can just talk to ourselves in a negative manner. But we have to remember that there is another side, but we got to put our head down and work through it. And, a lot of that comes with acceptance. I have to accept that at some point I won't be able to walk again. I know that that's going to happen at some point. I have prolonged that by doing everything that my surgeons and my physical therapists tell me to do physically wise. But a lot of it is a mental aspect. Like you have to be your own best coach. And if you can't be in those certain moments, you find someone who can and who's going to tell you, Carey, now is just a moment in time.
One of the things, if I may, that I read a book a few years ago that I think changed my life, and we won't get into that. But it's this thing that stuck with me, and I hear it so strongly in your story. It's like growth doesn't come from things going our way.
Yep.
From waking up, birds singing, sun shining, big smile on your face. That's not where the growth happens, is it?
No, it's in those painful times.
That's right.
Painful. Those are the lessons that stick.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And so we got to be grateful for that too, don't we?
Yeah, and nobody wants to hurt these days. Nobody wants to feel that pain, but
That's right.
it's essential for growth.
You got to lean into that.
Yeah.
You got to lean into that. Well, speaking of books, I've got another question for you, but before we get there, you do have a book, don't you?
I do.
Tell us about that. Where to find it? How
So
to get
again, my community pushed me to write this book, and honestly, it is not a fun process. I'll let you know that up front. Especially when you're writing about something like this.
I saw a blog post where you celebrated. I have finally, believe it or not, finished my book.
I did. And it's a short read. You could get it done in a weekend because honestly, it's all I could get out. I just couldn't go through anymore. But it's the first year of my recovery, which was the most painful year of my recovery. So that's what it's about. But yeah, you can get it anywhere that books are sold. Like you can order it on Barnes & Noble. Most of the time, people just go to Amazon to get it.
Yeah.
But I do on my website. If you want a author-signed one, you can order one from my website.
Get one from you there. Okay. And we do have some in the Farm Bureau store here. We're not selling, but have got them up there sort of on first come, first served basis. So if you're hearing this, it's probably too late. But we have had them here because you've been gracious enough to give us some of those. All right. So your first time on the show. Something you might not know, but everybody who comes on for a deep dive episode gets a surprise question.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I know. Don't worry. It's usually a fun one. I guess beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but it's usually fun. And so really nothing to worry about. We talk a lot about food on this show. Rarely does an episode go by where we don't talk about food. So we're taking a hard left turn here.
Or John's hair.
But since he's not here, we won't ask you any questions about that. We did give him a hard time because he sent us a picture from the hospital room of the new baby. And I said, why do you look like you're dressed to go on camera right now? Like hair done. His poor wife's in a gown,
Yeah.
But not John. He's to the nines,
Yeah.
Pretty funny. So, but we talk a lot about food. So something I'll ask you, if you were hosting us at your place in Missouri, and I have no clue if you're the cook or not, so I'm really taking a leap of faith here. If you were hosting us, Justin, Brian, and I, at your place, what's on the menu?
Probably if you're a first timer, I'm going to probably go with chicken Alfredo.
Oh, yeah?
It's a safe bet. It's going to be good every single time.
Okay.
And hardly anybody doesn't like chicken Alfredo.
That's fair. We certainly are pasta fans.
Yeah,
we would go for the
sure.
pasta.
Yeah.
I'm a cattle farmer. I should have said something with beef.
No, listen. Hey, I'm just glad I didn't ask you most of the time when I get a cattle farmer on this show, we ask about the best cut of beef.
Yeah.
Which I will ask you now that you've mentioned it. You get one chance to order steak at dinner. What's your order?
I would say porterhouse medium.
Porterhouse medium.
Wow.
Have not had porterhouse as an answer
Really?
before. That's correct. Yeah. What is it about the porterhouse that we need to pay more attention to?
I just like the cut. It's not chewy. A sirloin or a prime rib can be kind of chewy and ball up in your mouth. I think that's the biggest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So can I tell you then the number one answer from cattle producers? Medium rare ribeye.
I knew it was going to be ribeye. Everybody loves that ribeye.
Yeah.
I happen to think that's the perfect answer.
Yeah.
The first time I asked that question, I just knew I was going to get filet because I feel like that's what the world tells us we should be eating.
Yeah, that's what media says.
And when they looked at me and said ribeye, my heart smiled so big.
My heart smiled.
But porterhouse. Okay, Brian, next time we go out to dinner and there's a porterhouse on the menu, we got to go that route.
to try it.
Okay? All right, we'll do it just for you.
Awesome.
All right, Carey, thank you so much. We're so glad to have you here this week. So thankful for you taking the time to be with us on the Arkansas AgCast, and certainly can't wait to keep up with you as you continue on your journey.
Yeah, loved being here, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, we're back situated in our other seats here, but really, really glad to have Carey on. So glad that she's been so gracious with her time, Brian. I mean, like I said, I bet she's going to speak for over 4 hours at this event by the time it's all said and done.
Well, I'm looking forward to seeing her tomorrow. That was very moving.
Wow, I didn't think we'd get that deep into her story. I mean, we've got a limited amount of time here, so on and so forth. But my goodness.
And she carried it well. I mean, because I can only imagine all that she's gone through. But it's a very personal journey for one. But then she is sharing it with everyone. Very powerful.
And clearly compelled to do so by her faith.
Yes.
She doesn't see this as something that she should do just because it's the right thing. She's been compelled by her faith to do this. And she's on I think that qualifies you as being on a mission.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely it is.
And that's just
lives.
incredible to see.
That's really good.
Well, does that wrap us up?
It's been a good show, but hey, John's not here to see it off, but
yeah, me too.
And I hate to do this to you, but
oh no, don't tell me.
We're gonna have to have one little moment of
oh no, I need my partner here.
I know you were hoping we were going to
wingman.
leave without doing all that, but I'm going to have to do it to you.
I did. I really did think that we were going to get out of here without it.
You shouldn't ask me to record this. So that's what
I
you
went
get.
out of my way.
That's what you get, man.
Please, can you be around? Yeah.
If I record, it's got to come up. So, and I could give you the option for picking if you want, but I can just pick a few.
Why don't you just do that? That way I don't.
So let's go straight to general.
Okay.
How many gigabytes of capacity did the first iPod have?
This is so in your wheelhouse. It's not even, you don't even have to look at the answer.
That's why I was hoping you to say, pick one.
I think it was 1.
Would you believe 5?
Really?
It had 5 gigabytes of space.
5 I wonder how many songs that was back then.
Back then, compression rates. I don't know, but I bet it was
the quality, Neil. Mm-hmm. Don't you think?
Mm-hmm. It was probably 1,000 songs in your pocket. Mm-hmm. Because that was their.
But that was a big deal.
That was the little.
Oh, that
hook.
was the tagline. That was the marketing line.
So many. We'd have to look it up, but compression wasn't that great back then, so it may have been 1,000.
Yeah.
That you could put.
Wow, that's amazing to think about.
I heard some comedian saying when he was talking about his phone, he said, "I want to have so many songs on my phone, in my pocket." Mm-hmm. And he said, "No, I want all of the songs on my phone in my pocket. I want to be able to put all of the music."
I like that because I tell you, I'm very careful. If I know we're going to be out somewhere without signal, the music service I use has the option to download, albums or playlists or whatever, so you have access whether or not you have service.
Yeah,
I'm very particular about making the time to get things down on my phone, so I'm not without music.
For sure.
So that's funny.
Well,
all right, what's the next one?
Let me throw you a curveball.
Okay.
Science.
Oh gosh.
What does mass multiplied by velocity give you? Come on, baby, you got this.
Mass by velocity is speed.
Oh, so close. I was pulling for you.
Okay.
It's momentum.
Momentum. Which is
all right.
Okay.
I'll give you one more.
Okay, please.
It's just you can go out in a blaze of glory.
All right.
Entertainment.
Okay. Well, how about that?
In The Simpsons.
Oh God! I wasn't allowed to watch The Simpsons.
What is the name of the Springfield football team?
Do you know it?
If you remember the premise of the show,
goofy.
You remember the premise of the show. You remember the big corporation that was there.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I'm trying to think of the name.
So it all kind of revolves around that. I'm giving you hints, man.
I know, but I'm telling you. Listen, this may surprise everybody at home. I've never seen one full episode of The Simpsons.
Yeah, it's not surprising.
I
can't really say that I ever did either.
I'm gonna say the Titans.
No.
Okay.
No. Not even really a good guess.
Not even a good guess, is it?
It's the Atoms.
The Atoms.
Because it was like a nuclear.
Okay.
So
I know who would have gotten that though if he were here. I guarantee you. A guy who handles fireworks like him, you better believe he knew the answer to that question. I'm just saying.
Demolition Man.
That's all I'm going to say.
I saw Heath Donner in the hall. You should have grabbed him.
I should have.
He could have answered some questions
Heath
for you.
and I are right there.
Anyway.
We're very close to each other in age.
But
so.
that's what I got for you. So,
all right, man. Well,
fun.
thanks for taking the time. You're the busiest person at every one of these conferences. I appreciate you being here to do this.
Always a pleasure.
Well, listen, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. We're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen. Remember, you can catch new episodes of the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure to subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown. We have no John McMahon, but we'll see you next week.